Thanks to those joining me live and to those that be joining me on archive. D-Style here. I'm being joined by Sean Gringo Hicks from Long Live Boxing.
What up?
And how's it going, brother? And of course, we got Mark Nash in the building. How's it going, brothers?
Peace.
Hey, look, we have a lot to talk about here. We're going to start with a not so hot, but I just want to kind of get it out of the way type topic, because it is something I'm curious about, and I want to know what people think. So let us know what you think. By the way, hit the like button if you're just in an archive right now. What is the plan with Erislandy Lara? We saw him beat Spike O'Sullivan, and kind of expected it, but I'll be honest, he's not looking the same. And I get that he won in convincing fashion, but this was not a high-level opponent, and I think Lara should be, in my opinion, thinking about hanging him up. I'm not here to tell a grown man what to do, but I just think if he stays around, they're going to use him, and they're going to use him as a name for a middleweight at some point. Sean, what's going to happen with Erislandy Lara, man? Like, what's the trajectory?
Yeah, I think like at this point, that's kind of seems like their direction they're going into. I was surprised he was the co-main event, to be honest. Like, that surprised me in itself. So that kind of lets you know that they're kind of, hey, by the way, Lara, he's still fighting. Even though I know the last time he fought, he kind of got to the point since 2019, he's really kind of fought just kind of once a year. So they put that back out there. He's obviously a lot less fleet of foot. He's 39 now, about to be 40. He was able to kind of sit on his punches more, but again, that's also the opponent he faced as well too. But I definitely do feel like they're setting him up to be a name on somebody's resume. I think that's kind of the way it's kind of playing out based off how things are lining up. This is Lara. Remember him? He's coming off a win, a knockout win at that. It is what it is, irregardless of the opponent. And people that stands out in their minds on a big card. Obviously a lot of people are going to be attached and excited about anything that's going to be aligned with Tank. So people saw it, or they at least know of it, right? So I think that's definitely what's going to happen. And as far as him walking away, that's the thing that's always tough as far as fight fans. We never want to see one to go out and get beat up, but they do want to go out on their shield. And I know one time that Maidana said this before is, how else do you want me to make money? That's all they know how to do. So they are prize fighters, and if that's the only way they can make money, they're going to continue to fight as long as people keep paying them. And he is still in a good shape. Is he what he was? Absolutely not. But I think that's definitely looks like the path that's come to fruition.
Well said, Mark Nash. So what do you think is going to happen with Lara, brother? You think you should hang it up? Do you like what you're seeing?
Yeah. What up, though? What's poppin'? It's your man, Mark Nash. Thanks for having me. Hey, what up, Sean? What up, D-Style? Look, man, let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it 1,000 million trillion.
Let's do it.
Boxing, man, we throw guys away after losses, and then we throw guys away after wins, knockout wins too. Now, you can say what you want to. You don't like the fact that I ain't talking about you in general, of course, not you, my brother. But people like, yo, he got a regular belt. What the fuck is a regular belt? Excuse my French, but I'm in France. Let's talk about it, my guy. Can he earn a living? Yes, in boxing. Like my man Sean just said, what you want to do? Go work at UPS? Huh? No, this is how he earns his living.
No, he is a mover, right? I mean,
he's a Cuban, man. He's a Cuban. Man, he made it over here with lefts and rights. He got it out the mud doing it the right way, homie. And we want to throw him away after a knockout win. What we need to do is say, Jamal Charlo, where you at? Why don't you fight him? Huh? Yeah, because he's some guys out there. He can still beat a lot of these guys. These dudes don't want to see him, and it's an easy in boxing to say he should retire. A lot of these guys be telling him retire because they don't want to see their favorite fighter get beat. I think he can still beat Eubanks Jr., get a check. I think he can give, if not beat Jamal Charlo, damn sure give him. It'll be the best win on Jamal Charlo's resume. Can he beat Jaime Munguia? I don't know, but I ain't seen Jaime Munguia beat nobody on the Lara level. Why Lara got to retire? Can he beat? Look, this guy can still box. He proved it. He didn't take a lot of punishment. I did see him take some shots I didn't think he should have took because he was winning. And I was like, man, he would hurt the guy and start the round off like the first minute or so, lingering on the ropes, letting the guy get his shots up. I get it. He was setting him up, trying to get him to walk into a shot, which he ended up doing. But man, let's not throw away the guy after a knockout win, a damn good performance. Shout out to Erislandy Lara. I don't want him to retire. I want to see him fight Charlo, to be honest.
Look, I don't want to throw him away in the trash. I just want to put him like in a drawer, like in the archive. You know what I mean? Like, I just want him to kind of leave the sport gracefully, because I'm going to tell you right now, he ain't beating Eubanks Jr. He gets stopped. I'm going to tell you right now, while I agree it would be the best name on Jermall Charlo's resume, I mean, Jermall's resume is very like thin. So it's a good point. But I don't know if I want to see him get beat up at this age, with the reflex is gone, the legs aren't there. The guy's coming out saying, like, oh, I was trying to show people that I could fight. You know, I'm showing different dimensions in my game. Yeah, that means your legs are gone. That's what that means. You know, it reminds me of Bernard Hopkins in his late 40s telling everybody, I'm just trying to get the boxing fans, you know, some exciting fights. That's what I'm doing. Right? No, Bernard, it's because you were just more vulnerable. Your reflexes were gone. So you were getting hit more in your late 40s than you were even in your early 40s or 30s. Right? Right now, I think Erislandy Lara, well, I don't have a problem at all with him making a living. I just hope they keep him away from the top guys at middleweight. And I won't stop him from doing it. He's a grown man. He could do what he wants. But I have a feeling he's going to get seriously hurt. And that's just how I feel about it. But if you guys want to add anything before we go to the next topic, feel free.
No, that's a good point. One thing I want to kind of add out there, and good points by both, is what would be a name? Because you said Eubanks. Like, what would be a name to you where you feel like, okay, they're clearly just throwing that guy out there to the wolves? Like, honestly.
I mean, look, there is. First of all, middleweight's not that deep, right? So I get it. Right. So he could even get one of. He has a Reggie belt. He can get one of the other belts with because right now, Andrade, he's going to have surgery. Jermall might move up. Triple G's moving up. There might be a lot of like vacant belts. Okay, but to me, like, I mean, I could see them putting him in there if with a Jermall, if Jermall moves up, I could see that. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
I could see that as Jermall's first opponent for maybe a vacant belt or something, right? I could see them putting him in there with Lara. They're waiting for the right guy to throw him in there with. There's no doubt about that.
That would definitely be it.
But what would be interesting, though, is that for many years, Lara was like the master. He was the main dude in those gyms, okay, when they were in the same gym with the Charlo brothers. And boy, would the tables be turning now if he were to fight one of those brothers today. You know, because what used to be him beating them up and sparring when he was the veteran and there were the up-and-comers, I think we're going to see something completely different. And I could see Lara's ego like, nah, I could beat these guys, whatever, but we will see about that. Christian NWO in the chat, how's it going? Lee Groves, Man in Water, Stephen, how's it going, brother? Andre Rodriguez, Bruce Gass, how's it going, man? I'll shoot you a link in a little bit. Sonteo Media, all right, shout out to you guys. Let us know what you think, but we'll see. With that said, we got some pretty breaking news. Ryan Garcia, Ryan, apparently, according to some pretty reliable sources, is going to be fighting Javier Fortuna. This is not deja vu. This is, I understand that fight was set last year. And then Ryan Garcia, you know, he had some, what was it, depression or mental illness, whatever it was. And it didn't happen. Obviously, he ended up, Fortuna, that is, ended up fighting Jojo Diaz. But now the fight that should have happened, I guess they're going back in time, going to maybe do the fight. I'm not feeling a fight like I was last year because I already seen him get beat by Jojo. Why not fight Jojo Diaz? Why not? I mean, I have a lot of questions. But I've always been critical of Ryan, especially recently. Mark, I'll go first with you. What do you think about him fighting Fortuna later this year?
Is he really gonna fight him, bro? Do we even know? Is the contract sound? Do we got a date? Do we got a venue? Or is this some rumor mill stuff?
This is some sources putting this out there, like Coppinger, for example.
Sources. Okay. Well, I'll play the source game.
The source.
Ryan Garcia, man, I like Ryan Garcia. I've always liked Ryan Garcia. I get a lot of crap for it on my channel. They always say, man, you always giving him a chance. You always want to root for him. I was like, because why not? Get a kid a chance. I think he's a magnetic personality. He's flashy, he's flamboyant. Shoot, I was looking at TV the other day. I saw him in a Gatorade commercial beside Damian Lillard. And I was like, wow, you selling Gatorade? How you do that? I mean, you Ryan Garcia, you 22-0, but you're not even top 5 in your division. How do you get Gatorade commercials? Look, the guy can put butts in seats, and in this game, it seems like sometimes that's what really matters to individuals.
Sure.
If it happens, it happens. I got Ryan Garcia beating Fortuna decision. I don't think he stops him, but I can't even give this too much credence, man, because Ryan Garcia don't let me down so many times. Grand opening, grand closing. Every time you hear he's in a big fight. So with that, I'll pass the mic, man.
Gringo, what do you think, brother?
Good stuff, Mark. Unlike my brother Mark, I'm not as high on Garcia, but I do give him props if this fight does actually come to fruition. It seems like it does seem weird though. Like, Fortuna had the fight with JoJo, and then because JoJo stepped in and JoJo beat him. I would have much preferred that. I know JoJo was willing to take the fight for the same amount of money, and then that just totally went by the wayside. I think at first it was mental issues, health issues, and then it was like the injury to the hand. That was the other delay, and just never came to fruition. So bottom line, I think the fight would be a step up. I hope it does happen. I do think that I could see Ryan Garcia winning that fight. It's definitely a step up from the Emmanuel to-go fight. Hopefully he performs a lot better, not be as stiff, be able to cut off the ring, not put his chin up in the air, and show more diversity in his game. That's when I want to see some development. I didn't know about the Gatorade commercial, but I'm be on the lookout for that. That's the thing, as a fight fan, we have fighters that we appreciate and respect, but they're not always the ones that are getting the limelight. The ones that are getting the limelight, not maybe, but they're not doing the same thing as far as putting the work in the trenches. And it just is what it is. That's the way boxing is today. So hopefully he'll take advantage of his limelight, and he'll be able to get into these more challenging fights and become the star he could be. Because irregardless of how I feel about him, he is one of the faces of boxing. When people talk about boxing that aren't hardcore fight fans, Ryan Garcia's name comes up, whether we like it or not. So he needs to step it up, and he's willing to do that. I'm all for it. And I think that he would take out Fortuna. I'm seeing like an 8-4, maybe even a 9-3. Fortuna, he just took too many wide shots. He leaves himself open. I think that with the speed of Ryan Garcia, he would just dismantle him if he fights the right smart fight.
So just to kind of look at, Coppinger tweeted out 8 hours ago, Ryan Garcia versus Javier Fortuna have agreed to a deal, a 135-pound fight on July 16 at Crypto.com Arena. That's the former Staples Center in Los Angeles, home of the Lakers, you know what I mean? So shout out to them, and the Clippers, I guess. Okay, so it says sources tell ESPN Garcia was set to fight Fortuna last July before the star boxer withdrew to address some mental health. All right. And of course, Ryan did also tweet out about on the 28th that he needs to take care of business on the 16th, and he wants to see Tank in December. So he has confirmed the date. So I think there's really good reason to believe that that fight's going to happen. Look, it's an okay fight. I just think it's not everything in boxing is about timing, right? You're going to fight this guy when he's coming off a loss with Jojo Diaz. At least fight Jojo Diaz. Jojo Diaz has been saying he called out your mental health. Jojo Diaz say you're a pussy. Jojo Diaz say you're full of shit. Like that's a fight I could get behind, that I could watch, that I would support. The Fortuna fight, at the very least, I mean, you owe him that payday though, because you pulled out last minute on the man. Okay, and so that's that. So. I'm from a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being extremely excited, 0 being like, I'm like, this is like a 3 for me, right? I'm just not excited about that. And I agree, Chief Funky Jojo's coming off a loss, but they're both coming off a loss, at least the one that won their fight. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, okay? I'm not excited for this one, but do you guys believe him? Like, buy or sell? Gringo, do you believe him that he wants Tank in December? Because I'm going to flat out say, sell for me. I don't believe him.
Oh, hell no. Not at all. I mean, no, not even a little bit. Please don't. Yeah, no way. I'm not buying any Ryan Garcia stock. If it's available, you can have it. No thanks. I don't trust him. Good luck to him with all that. No, sir. Sorry. Next, please.
Mark Nash, buy or sell? Do you believe him? He wants to tank in December.
I think he wants the limelight. I think he saw all the fanfare around Tank Davis, not Madison Square, the Barclays, almost 19,000. I think he sees, hey, this guy has something I want. This guy is loved. He's popular. Now, Ryan is popular, but he's not traveling like everywhere he's go. He's not that. First of all, he's not active as Tank has been. But I think he wants that allure. He wants that the fanfare, or you can say the love that Tank gets. Because some people say, man, how is Tank number one? How is Tank number one? How is he the big star? What's up with this 3 division? He ain't beat nobody. He ain't did this. He ain't did that. But that ain't what his checks say. His checks say he's that dude and he's loved. And he put asses in seats and he knocks dudes out. He's explosive. And I think he wants to, I know everybody who says this usually lose, but I think he sees something. I think he sees something in Tank that he thinks he may be able to exploit. Is that true? That remains to be seen. But yeah, I believe he wants to fight, win, lose, or draw. He wants to prove to himself and to his audience that he's everything he said he was. So I'll buy some of that Ryan Garcia stock that Sean Hicks has given up.
All right. TBH. Hey, brother, are you pumped about Ryan Garcia coming back? Right, he's going to fight Javier Fortuna. At least that's the plan. And he says he wants Tank in December.
Buy or sell is basically what you're asking. I mean, Javier Fortuna is a step-up opponent since he hasn't fought nobody. The last, I don't know how many fights. I mean, it's going to be his best fight since Luke Campbell. I think okay. You know what? Even though the dude, I'll say this. Even though that Ryan Garcia shows, sometimes he shows that he's the type of dude that'll, he'll wolf a little bit. But I think I believe him. And the reason why I say I believe him is because there's a lot of money to be made between him and Tank. And I think he's smart enough to understand if you want to build his profile up and get his money up and get his star power up to where probably where it should be with Tank. So that's what I would say. I would say that I believe him. And I would like to see it down the road.
Man, ladies and gentlemen, we have found a believer. Okay, we have found a believer in Ryan Garcia. This is unbelievable. Like, there is faith in this world. I just see that's a leap of faith, brother. That's like leaping the Grand Canyon. But you're taking it. I appreciate that. Bruce Goes in the building. How's it going, my brother? Bruce Goes. How's it going, brother?
What's up, D-Style? Mark Nash, Sean, the boxing historian. Salute, my brothers. How you doing today? And a happy Memorial Day to everybody, man.
Happy Memorial Day.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Just shout out to everybody that served and all that good stuff. And I hope everybody got their grill on. You know what I mean? Bruce Goes, did you grill today? Did you grill anything?
In the house.
In the house. Okay.
Yeah. Hamburgers and fries in the house. But, ate them outside, though, man. It was a beautiful day on the bay out here, bro. 90 degrees, man. Fucking awesome, man. 100% visibility. Great day to be alive, with me and the Toka 2 over here just enjoying our life, man. So shout out and thanks for the invite, bro.
Absolutely. First of all, really quick, before I ask you, shout out to Speaker Man Sports Talk, D. Jefferson in the building, joining the membership. I appreciate it, brother. And the super chat, D-Style, much love, mi hermano, G Funky, Maestro, and Joe. Miss you guys. Hey, man, can't wait to have you back on, man. Shout out to D. Jefferson. Thanks for the support. Hey, Bruce Goes. Ryan Garcia, Lion Ryan. All right. He's going to fight Javier Fortuna. So are you excited for that fight? And do you believe him that he wants Tank? He wants to go mano a mano with Tank Davis in December.
Well, Ryan's he's a special case. He's a young kid. I don't mess with mental illness. That it can be triggered by anything, and it is real. And Ryan, very, very talented, man. he's probably one of the hardest punchers in the lightweight division. I'd like to see him fight Fortuna. I'd like to see him fight a lot of fighters out there, man. Because I think Ryan can make some noise out there. He's even talking about Tank, bro. I mean, that fight like that would bring the house down right now. And yeah, man, I'd like to see Ryan do these things. But I mean, the way Ryan's mind is, man, you never know how many fights has he pulled out of in the last year. It's when I see him,
he pulls out of fights more than he pulls out of women. He has like 2 women pregnant, but that's besides the point. But yeah,
you said it all, brother. You said it all, man. I'd like to see Ryan fight. I'd like to ride with him, man. But I just don't have the confidence that he's going to follow through, bro. That's the thing. It's a day by day proposition with Ryan.
All right. I mean, fair enough. Look, here's what I'll say. He's definitely, like, I think people started telling Ryan Garcia he needs to start pulling out, and he thought they were talking about his fights. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like you start pulling out to save yourself some money and make better business decisions. Like, no, that's not what they were talking about, Ryan. All right. But with that said, shout out to Solteo Media. Shout out to you, brother. And all that good stuff, man. Look, I don't believe Ryan, and that might be an ugly thing to say. I got to go with my intuition. I don't believe him. I do think he's in a fight for Fortuna, but I just don't believe him, and his history shows me that. This guy stood in the ring one time and said, "I want to fight Tank Davis." 48 hours later, the dude is talking about fighting Manny Pacquiao. All of a sudden, he had no interest in fighting Tank Davis. So it's like, to me, that's just what, like, he's gonna have to show me. All right. I don't know if you guys seen that motivational video that's always on Instagram. Like nobody's gonna believe you until you do it. Like that. That's Ryan Garcia right now. Okay, ain't nobody gonna believe you until you do it. Okay, but TBH believes in Ryan Garcia. It's good to see somebody believe in him. You know what I mean? Like, he has this faith in Ryan Garcia. But with that said, something else I want to touch on, man. It's an interesting topic, and I want to touch on it here. Former heavyweight champion of the world, Anthony Joshua from England, right? He has been on this like search for a coach. He's been going around. And we all saw, like, he was interviewing coaches and like for a job, basically, right? From Ronnie Shields, he went with Virgil Hunter, Robert Garcia. We're going to talk about him a little bit. I mean, he went around gym to gym, and I guess I got to admire it. Like, he literally went on a search. We all thought he just upgraded his assistant coach as his main coach. Okay, but it turns out, according to Coppinger and according to some sources, if this turns out to be wrong, don't come at me. Disa, you're out here putting out false information. It ain't me. ESPN's putting this out, okay? He's hired Robert Garcia. Robert Garcia in the corner of Anthony Joshua, right? To face Usyk in the rematch. And I want to know what you guys think about it. TBH, I'll go first to you, brother. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts when I saw that headline, because I saw that headline as well. I believe that Anthony Joshua is going to get knocked out quicker than what he should have been got knocked out in the 12th round when they mysteriously, rang the bell prematurely 10 seconds before the fight ended. I'm going to just tell you straight up, man. I'm going to tell you straight up. If he gets with Robert Garcia, and Robert Garcia is a really good trainer, he's one of the best in the whole sport. The problem is, though, this man has switched through 3 different trainers in the last 7 months. This guy's done, man. The dude's not tough. You hit him in the chin. He goes night, or he stumbles. And Usyk is just the best heavyweight in the world. Like I've been telling y'all, it's the best heavyweight in the world. And this is what you do. You switch to Robert Garcia as a trainer.
like that,
that's your 3rd or 4th trainer. So Yes, it's over for AJ, man.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Mark Nash, talk to us, brother. What do you think of this move?
How official is this though?
It's Mike Coppinger announced it official.
Here we go again.
We had Sonteo in the gym, and he didn't ask him. He was right there. He didn't ask Robert Garcia.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but he didn't ask him.
Yeah. I when I heard the news, I went straight to Robert Garcia's IG and Twitter. Didn't see anything saying anything about it, confirming it. But I'll play the sources game again.
That's what we do.
I think excuse me. I gotta go back in my mental Rolodex and see the last time I seen Robert Garcia work with the heavyweight. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if this would be the best move for Anthony Joshua. I don't know. Is Robert Garcia just gonna drop everything and go over there to the UK? Is he gonna how long is he gonna be there? Is AJ gonna come over here to the States? If so, how long is he gonna be over here? When you're dealing with, excuse me, I'm sorry. When you're dealing with a trainer that's across seas like that, I think you lose a lot of chemistry that you got to get in a lot of trust. Like sometimes, like it's like for poor choice of words, but I'll use matter of fact, I'll use this an example like with a child. Sometimes any parent on this panel or in the chat will know. Sometimes you can just look at your child a certain way. And they know, don't do this. You don't get that if you are over the phone. You don't get that if you are absentee parent, i.e. an absentee trainer. So as great as a trainer as I think Robert Garcia is, I don't know how this chemistry is going to work with him being over there in Cali and AJ being in the UK. I just don't see how this is going to work. They're going to Skype in the plan. They're going to StreamYard the training. I don't know how this is going to work.
That's fair. Those are some good points there. Really quick, shout out to Maestro in the building. How's it going? They had a good show earlier. Make sure you check them out. We got Lee Groves on here. Sonteo Media, who forgot to ask Robert Garcia the question we're all wondering. I don't know what happened. All right, but nonetheless, he was there. Robert has a big fight with Bam versus Sor Rungisai coming up June 25th. That touches to the point. Is he going to be around? You know what I mean? Andre Rodriguez, how's it going? Chicano Prophet in the building. And El Chizo, how's it going? Look, let me say this. Just to kind of hit home on some of the points. Robert Garcia's gym and his fighters, all right? Like he has so many of them that they call it an academy, okay? It's called the Robert Garcia boxing academy. Like it's not even called a gym. Like they got so many people there, so many fighters. Virgil left because he felt like he wasn't getting more exclusive attention, and he didn't like the fact that Robert wasn't in his corner because Robert went to another fight. Okay, so my point is, in order for this to work, in order for Robert Garcia to not piss off some of the world champion he has and top contenders and prospects, right? In order to not piss them off, he needs to be around. He can't like leave and go seclude himself to the Poconos or Big Bear with AJ. Like, hey guys, I'll be back in 2 months. I'm gonna go work with AJ so he could avenge his loss. Like, what do you think is gonna happen? Like, you know how many fighters are gonna be like, well, fuck, like we already saw it happen, okay, with Virgil Ortiz. So in order for this to work, AJ needs to go to the academy and like train with everybody and be like, maybe they'll work it out. They'll probably find a time for him to train or something, but I don't know how it's going to work. And I've seen it like in Wild Card that was shut it down for Pacquiao to train, so they could do it. But is AJ going to be Californian for a couple of months? Is AJ going to live and breathe California air? Because it's what he's going to need to do. That he needs to live that California life. Like AJ might be the biggest liberal right before that damn fight happens. Okay, like I'm just telling you right now. So he's gonna have to be there in wherever it is. Oxnard, is it? Maybe somebody could correct me, but wherever the academy is at. Okay, there you go. He's gonna have to be there. He's gonna have to live that life. I don't know how this is gonna work. And also, even though Sonteo put he's worked with heavyweights before, I've heard Robert Garcia say that he doesn't really work with heavyweights that much before, and he doesn't. Like, you don't see like a bunch of heavyweight. You don't see T-Rexes in his gym. You see Raptors. Okay. I don't see like a lot of light heavyweights, and I'm not saying he hasn't worked with any, but that's not his specialty. This isn't exactly Emmanuel Stewart, right? And for this to be for the heavyweight championship of the world, ladies and gentlemen, boxing is just different at heavyweight than it is at middleweight, and it's different at middleweight than it is at featherweight, and vice versa. It's a different sport. It's different. You can't throw as many combinations. A fight is more likely to end with one punch than it is in lower weight classes. The strategy is different. So it'll be interesting if this is true, and if Coppinger is capping, then we'll call him out for it. But Gringo, talk to us. Well, what are your thoughts, Robert Garcia, AJ?
Yeah, I mean, for many of the reasons that you guys said and more, I thought that would be the last name we would probably even hear. I really thought they had upgraded the other trainer after McCracken was no longer the lead trainer. So it's kind of peculiar. And then, like, to points you're bringing up, G-Funk, as far as D-Style, I'm sorry, as far as like the availability, that's huge, right? I mean, like that fight he has with his big fighter currently that we confirm, Bam Rodriguez versus Sarungsafai, that's a huge fight, you know. So he's going to be there for that. That's his bread and butter right now. He's not going to miss that. So I'm really surprised, and it makes me wonder also, just from the fight fan, what did he hear that he didn't hear from the other guys? They're like, hey, I'm gonna go with this guy who doesn't work with heavyweight fighters, that has a stable of an academy of a bunch of guys between 115 and 147, and he's going to take me to where I need to be. Most of the guys are pretty much prospects too. That's another thing. They're not really seasoned fighters. The most seasoned fighter, what is his brother? That's not really even an active fighter, pretty much. So it's really a peculiar move. I mean, if it is true, and we're not going to cap on Coppinger yet, but if it does turn out to be true, it's surprising. And then the biggest thing for me, let's just take all that out the picture. Logistically, as far as strategically, I don't see Robert Garcia as a good defensive fighter. So kind of to the boxing historian's point, I could see him getting brutalized in this fight. If he goes in there and tries to be more offensive and bully him, if that's what he's going to try to do, I can see that not going to work into his advantage, and he'll see something he doesn't want to see, which is a early stoppage.
All right. Bruce Goss, talk to us.
What's up, bro? I mean, it was like the Anthony Joshua One More Time tour. It's like he was bumped from city to city, sellout crowds. Everybody's anticipating who his trainer is going to be. We're getting inside, quote scoops on who it's going to be. It's already signed. It's a done. Man, I personally, I don't think it matters who he gets as a trainer at this stage. I think he kind of like looked at the clock and said, "Damn, my fight's a month away. I'm not going to go in there alone." Robert Garcia, you want to make a quick mill, bro? Come on over to my camp, man. The name is publicity. It sells. But I personally don't think it matters right now. I don't think he has time to learn anything new. I think he's just going to have to do his do his gym routine and probably get his hands on a little more or something like that, and try to pop some muscle, bro. And that's like I said, man. I think it's too late for him to change his style. I don't think a trainer's going to make any difference. I think he's just going to get a little more accustomed to it. There you go, D-Style, bro. Me, I drink water and only water, brother. The essence of life.
There we go.
But to answer that question, bro, I don't think it's going to matter. I think it's just window dressing at this stage, man.
Just window dressing. Mm-hmm. Now the question is, let's say AJ's willing to look, I'll stay at California for a while. I'll be in Oxnard. I'll have my time to train. I don't know how much time Robert's going to have to exclusively train with him, right? Whatever that is. Let's say Robert does everything possible. He makes it work, right? I have seen Robert do some remarkable things. I really have, right? And one of them, to me, it wasn't even in a win, but well, actually, yes. So yes and no. What he did with Marcos Maidana was nothing short of impressive, right? Marcos Maidana, while he was always tough and good, right? He had a win over Victor Ortiz. What did he do to beat Victor Ortiz? He just outmanned him. Like, he took his soul. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he took a beating and he gave a beating back, and one guy quit. That was Victor Ortiz, right? That's what he did right there, right? But when it comes to, like, when he went to, and then he got outboxed by, like, Devin Alexander just boxed circles around him, easily beat him, right? Like, he was kind of exposed in that fight. But then what happened? He goes with Robert. Robert works with him. He gives him a jab. He gives him bobbing and weaving. He goes in there as a big underdog against Broner. He feints a jab, comes upstairs, like scientific shit, drops Broner, right? He's outboxing Broner at times. And then he gets a Mayweather fight. Jabbing Mayweather, like, and landing at times, and giving him one of Mayweather's toughest fights, right? In fact, Mayweather had to run it back. He fought him twice. He got 2 paydays out of it, right? To me, that's impressive, like, doing that against, like, the best fighter of our generation. But could he do something with AJ, right? Even though it's, in my opinion, out of his element now at heavyweight, and could he draw up a game plan to help AJ win this fight with Usyk, right? Mark Nash, can he help him win the fight?
I don't see how he was going to beat him if he stayed with his regular trainer. I didn't see a path to victory for AJ in this fight. I just think sometimes a guy just got your number, man. And this wasn't like Andy Ruiz catching him with a good shot. This guy got systematically beat up and broke down for 12 rounds. That takes something out of a guy. It's like Tank versus I know I might be putting the cart before the horse, but let me say this. Tank versus who's the kid? Rolly will be back because Rolly didn't get beat up and destroyed all night long. He got hit with a shot, went to sleep, woke up. Hey, what happened? Hey, man, he'll be right back. What happened to AJ, I think, was more systematic and it was just more technical. I just don't see him beating Usyk. I think sometimes a guy just has your number. Height don't win fights. I'll never forget. I always bring this up. Mayorga, Vernon Forrest, Shea Mosley. That triangle theory right there. Mosley beat him twice, beat Mayorga twice. But Vernon Forrest beat Mosley in the amateurs. He just had Mosley number. Beat him in the amateurs, beat him twice in the pros. But he couldn't beat Mayorga. So sometimes a guy just has your number. And with that, I'll pass the mic. And I think Usyk is going to call that number up, and Joshua's going to pick that phone up again this summer.
Fair enough. And just because I want to throw shots at Barrera, like Junior Jones had his number, beat him twice. It is what it is. He couldn't figure it out. Morales figured it out, but Barrera couldn't. You know what I'm just saying? Hey, but Gringo, talk to us, man. Like, do you think that, assuming everything goes as planned and AJ dedicates himself and they make it work, game plan wise, can Robert help him beat Usyk, in your opinion?
I think he can put a strategy together that could make things interesting. You know, obviously he said something that drew his attention, but to Bruce's point that he made earlier, just not enough time. You know, it's a process. Like, I'd feel better about this if AJ kept McCracken on and then he just had him come in as a consultant. That'd be totally different. I'd probably feel different. Okay, he's going to go in there, be more offensive, more aggressive, you know, come in there with something that's going to be a different look that Usyk's maybe not predicting. But for him to be the lead guy so late in the game, and for them to talk about a fight coming up so soon in Saudi Arabia with a guy who's in such high demand, I just can't see it. Logistically, I can't see it. So can he make a plan? Yeah, but it won't be executed. There won't be enough time to implement it properly.
Well said. Bruce goes. What do you think?
I mean, Sean just said it precisely, man. And Mark Nash did too. I mean, that triangle theory, bro. You know, it goes on throughout the history of boxing. We could all probably name a dozen of these fighters, and this is why I think Joshua's just going to go in there with he's going to think bigger is better. That's why I whipped out that bottle of my hormone replacement therapy, the testosterone. I think he's just going to try to get big. He's going to try to manhandle Usyk. I don't think he can outbox Usyk. Usyk's got that fucking that Russian style, you know, he's got that dog in him, and I think Joshua's going to have to he's going to have to use his size. And the trainer, like Sean said, bro, there's just not enough time. You just can't teach an old dog new tricks in that short a period, bro. It's not going to happen. And like I said, I think Joshua went around and he just realized, now I got to get busy. I got to get to Saudi Arabia. I got to get my ass in fourth gear quick. And I don't think there's going to be much change from the first fight. I think Joshua may try to bully him, but I think Usyk's going to. I think he has his number. Like he said, he's got that Barkley over Hearns. He's got that Ali over fucking Frazier, and it's just the way it is, bro. It's
okay.
I think it's going to be an easy fight for Usyk this time around.
Damn. All right, now I know it's not going to get better for AJ here, but I got to go with this story either way, and it's kind of assuming they make it work. And I know I'm already like aligning the stars, which stars don't always align, but assuming we get to that point, and he's working with him, and they have the time together. TBH, can Robert Garcia put a plan together to help him win this fight?
I'm gonna be honest, D-Style. That's an asinine question to ask. I mean, on the surface level, it's a fair question to ask, but on the ultimate three-dimensional level of boxing, that's a asinine question to ask, and the answer is no, man. Look, there's nothing that we can say on this man's resume that would even remotely tell us that, and I'm talking about Robert Garcia, that remotely will tell you that he can retool or add to someone like AJ. AJ is not Andy Ruiz, all right? You understand? Or any other heavyweight he's worked. Well, I don't know what heavyweights he has worked with. To be honest,
he didn't work with Andy, but
right. So he's not accustomed to working with someone like AJ, who's a bigger, longer guy, who likes to box who likes to work off his jab and all the other stuff. And AJ is like, his mentality and his style is not built for what I've, at least from the fighters that I've seen him train, is built for what Robert Garcia brings to the table. You can't teach someone who doesn't have a chin to fight the way that Robert Garcia is probably going to add to his game. I just don't see it, and I think that it's going to be. To me, it's going to further his ultimate destruction that's about to take place in the second fight. So no, I don't see it.
Well, I mean, he's never been like knocked out, right? Like they've stopped the fight on him, but like AJ's never been knocked out cold or something. So when you say he has a glass chin, like what are we basing that off? Because
I'm basing it off of the heavyweight division. There's three to four things you need to have to be good at the heavyweight division: a good jab, or to be a great heavyweight, a jab, power, and a chin, and the fourth thing would be footwork. And he's deficient. He doesn't have he's deficient at one and not that good at one of the other four. And you can't, there's not, like, at this point he's 32. This is prime of his career. You can't really retool or add stuff to someone like that who's been boxing the way he has and reacting to punches the way he has. When it comes to the heavyweight division, comes to heavyweight boxers, his chin ain't shit, man.
Damn.
Yeah, it's just what it is.
No respect.
Yeah, and I think that the Robert, whatever style that he's gonna bring for AJ's just not going to work, because it's not built for someone who is as physically weak as AJ. Okay. Just saying.
I hear you. Here's what I'll say. Part of me wants to be the devil's advocate, but like something's stopping me, and that's logic. Like, logically speaking, it's Robert Garcia has no history of working with any elite heavyweights. He has no history of working with any elite cruiserweights. He has no history of working with any elite light heavyweights. Like, this is out of the scope of what he specializes in. Like, that's number one. Second, even if Emmanuel Stewart was still alive and healthy, right? And God bless and rest in peace to Emmanuel Stewart. But let's say he was still around. A lot of people don't know this, but Vladimir Klitschko lost his first fight with Emmanuel Stewart. He was 0-1 when he started with Emmanuel because there was a new system. He was still adjusting to it. And after that, they went on a 10-year tear and didn't lose again, but he lost that first fight. Why? It takes time to acclimate somebody into your system. Okay? A lot of fighters don't look that great after one fight with a new trainer. No matter how good that trainer is, it takes time. It takes a couple of fights.
Exactly.
This isn't Rocky 3. You know, Apollo Creed took Rocky, and he took him from a brute who was blind from one eye. Suddenly, he cured his eye, and the dude was boxing like Sugar Ray Robinson all of a sudden in one training camp, mind you, right? He looked like a middleweight against Clubber Lang, and just outboxed him like it was nothing. Well, that happens in movies. I like the movie, but it's a movie, okay? So that's all I got to say about it. It's going to be extremely difficult, even if Robert does all the right things, even if they do better than we all expect them to do.
Can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me echo. I want to echo one of your points, and not to belabor the point, but
sure.
I remember after that fight this past Saturday, everybody was saying he needs to fire Bullet. Talking about Rolly, get rid of Bullet. Bullet's not a good coach. Bullet's not a good coach. I said, man, he's working with what he has in front of him. That's right. It is what it is. A trainer can't go in there and make somebody something they're not, especially a guy who started boxing at 17. He is what he is. He was what he was before he got in the ring with Tank. And he's going to be that next same way afterwards. You can't, I don't care. You can go in there and get him to do all the pad work just like Mayweather. He's not going to do it in the ring. He's just going to retort back to what he's used to. These guys always want to throw away the trainer. The trainer is always going to be the first one to go when you have a loss. But at the end of the day, man, you can't make the guy something he's not. You just got to look at what he has and change the game plan and use those things to his best advantage. Like, he shouldn't be out there trying to box this smaller, quicker guy. You just need to blitz him. You need to rush him. You know, lean on him, weigh on him. You know, get in on him quick and tie him up inside, beat him up. You got to press that guy. You can't just be standing out there trying to circle him and then it's just a lot of things he did wrong. And like I said, the more AJ fight, the more we see things in his arsenal. They'd be like, I think Fury beat him. Oh yeah, I think Wilder probably could have beat him too. The more we see him fight, it was a time where he just seemed invincible, and that element of invincibility is definitely has sailed. That ship has been long gone, and I just don't see him beating Usyk right now. I don't care who he trained with. Maybe if he trained with Sugar Hill, maybe might have a better game plan. That probably would have been a better choice, but I don't see Sugar Hill training him because, you know, where we go next, that the fight against him and Fury, then Sugar Hill will have to pick and choose. So I just don't know. I wish him nothing but the best, though.
Yeah, but now you don't think Robert probably knows all, like, you don't think he'll try to have him go at him, blitz him, you know, use his, you know, his weight, his strength on Usyk?
I would hope so. I would hope so, but telling a guy is one thing. But you have to have a track record of seeing it work. You know what I mean? Yes. I can tell you all day I know how to fix a car. I know how to fix a car. Are you going to let me change the engine on your Ferrari? Probably not.
Yeah, that's true.
And this another thing real quick, you know, we're not just talking about a regular fighter. I mean, it's talking about Usyk. I mean, so usually if you're going to have a change of game plan, that's against a one-dimensional, maybe a two-dimensional guy. Usyk's adaptable, and he's one of the best fighters in the world, period. So, I mean, any game plan you have, once you see and run into any kind of trouble, and that's any fighter, you go back and revert to what you are. So any changes will be just minimal and just short-lived. And then he'll be more winded, going back to the boxing historian's point, and leave himself open to be potentially stopped or hurt badly. So that's, I don't see it happening. And also, just real quick, as far as Usyk, if you go back and look at history, Usyk has been kind of eyeing AJ he's always at his fights. He's always seen him as a mark, as an opportunity. So just like AJ may be doing his homework, Usyk's been doing his homework. He knew that's the guy he wanted to face, and he faced him, and he got what he wanted, the belts.
Hey, Mark said something that I'm thinking about, right? Like, could you imagine if AJ's like, Robert, well, I'm not going to be at the academy, but we could schedule these Zoom calls, and try to trade him on Zoom?
Right. I think Kovalev was working with what's the guy? He was working with him like that. When he was training for War, what was his trainer? Jackson.
Oh, okay, Jackson. Yeah.
A lot. Jackson was doing long distance training. I think Amir Khan was doing some stuff like that before he came over with Brian McIntyre. Like that stuff is just never really good. You really have to be a self-starter to do that. But I remember Buddy McGirt. He was like that though. I interviewed him and he said, look, I don't have to stand over your shoulder and tell you to run. No, I'm gonna know if you ran and did what you had to do when you show up at the gym later on. So he don't stand over the guys. He don't go in and run. He said, hey, get up in the morning, go run your miles. I'll see you at the gym at X amount of time for sparring. Then go run your miles this evening. Like, he don't stand over him. He's not hands-on with some of that stuff. He's old school.
Hey, shout out to Lee Groves. He says, although in Rocky 4, Rocky did fight like Rocky, what happened to the slickster Rocky from Rocky 3? And I want to go around the panel really quick. What is your favorite Rocky? If you hate all of them, just say that. But Mark Nash, what's your favorite Rocky movie?
Man, that's a hard one right there. I want to say the first one. Nothing beats that first one, bro. But the one, if he dies, he dies. Which one was that? That was a damn
4.
good one. Rocky 4 is a good one. Yeah, Mr. T. The one with Mr. T probably was the weakest one to me. I like the one with Tommy. Yeah, I like the one with Tommy Gunn. I think that was one of my favorite ones.
Oh, the street fight? Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one too, man. Like, it got to be the first one or maybe the Tommy Gunn one, maybe. I don't know. There's so many.
All right, right. Sean, what's your favorite Rocky movie?
3, I like weak shit, but no, I like it because of Mr. T, honestly. I'm all about the villain, man. That's why I like Rolly.
Hey, woman, you want to come with a real man? Well, come to my apartment tonight. That made Rocky sign that shit. He made him sign that shit. You know what I mean? Hey, Bruce Goss, what's your favorite one, brother?
Bro, I was weaned on those Rocky movies from 76 on up, man. That's a real tough one because I've probably seen every one of those movies 7, 8, maybe 10 times. I don't know, bro. I could recite you every line from every one. Damn, I can't answer that D-style because I like them all. If you put me in a room with all fucking 7 Rocky movies, I'd be happy.
Okay. Oh, I didn't even think about the Creed ones. Okay. All right. Hey, TBH, what's your favorite Rocky movie, brother?
I would say the first 4. I'll say the first 4 were the best ones. But
that's all of them, bro.
I mean, the first 2 were they were kind of intertwined because it was between him and Apollo Creed.
Oh, you see, like the same movie, kind of.
Yeah, it felt like it. It felt like that was a 2-part series, and then the third film you have, Clever Lang. He had a high level of charisma and brought a lot out in that movie. But I'm not gonna lie though, that scene, I think the favorite scene that I like, and one of my favorite songs of all time, just that was the 4th one when he got in the car when he was thinking about Apollo Creed and Ivan Drago, and that song just keeps playing. There's no easy way. That's a memorable scene.
Yeah,
I think I like 4. I like 4 the most.
All right. Look, I love Rocky 3. I know Mark and I said it was some weak shit, but it's okay. I like Mr. T. Like Mr. T is like the best villain of all. Like I like he's raw.
Though, D.
What's that?
That's the same thing. A loudmouth black dude. They did that already in the first 2 parts. They just did the same movie again.
He was different in Apollo though.
But because Mr. T was popular of that era. He was just a magnanimous personality. He had a magnet to him too. Like everybody he was on cartoons, the A-Team. It's Mr. T. He was on cereal boxes.
There you
I remember
go.
they had a cartoon with him, Michael Jordan, and Wayne Gretzky or something. Like, I get it, but so I didn't mean to say weak. I don't want to shit on everybody's movie. I'm just saying it was just a loudmouth black dude. We seen that already.
I think there were different type of like Apollo was like a charismatic, kind of like a Muhammad Ali. Like Clubber Lang was like a scary dude, though. You know what I mean? The storyline was Mickey was protecting, like his trainer was protecting Rocky from this fighter because he kind of knew this was a bad style for him. You know, that's pretty much what it was. And then Rocky's so good that he learned how to fight like Apollo Creed in one training camp. In one training camp, he mastered the art. Like that's crazy to me. Can you imagine Raleigh like going to training camp with Floyd Mayweather and then he's fighting like Floyd in the next fight? Like that would be unbelievable. Like that's what happened in this movie. And then Rocky just completely forgot to fight that way after that fight. You know, the best part though, which I don't like about the movie, is Apollo Creed sees Rocky lose to a guy, right? Because the style just wasn't right for him, right? And he doesn't like seize the moment, and he had the style to beat Clubber Lang because he taught Rocky that style to do it, right? And he didn't do it himself. He went to go train Rocky. Like that makes no sense, right? Bernard Hopkins didn't train, Tater how to beat Pavlik. He went and did it himself. Okay, he didn't train Dawson how to beat Pascal. He went and did it himself. Right, so that's my only criticism of it. Also, Mark Nash mentioned the Rocky V, which is the street fight one. I think that movie gets such a bad rap. I like the movie. I like it a lot. But people always say, "Oh, that's the worst Rocky." Like, I don't know. I like the street fight scene. I don't like Adrian though. I think Adrian's a bitch in that movie. That's got to be honest with you. Right, so she doesn't want Rocky to fight no more because that's the only way he knows how to make a living. And when he's finally training a dude that's like at the cusp of being a world champion, on Christmas, Rocky Balboa, all right, had his cuñado, he had his brother-in-law dress up as Santa Claus for the kids. Right? The kids are fuck this shit. We don't like this. And they walk off. And somehow, like, when Rocky goes out there to go get his son, like, hey, what are you doing? Like you're, Santa's here. Let's have a Christmas. She starts yelling at Rocky. Rocky, you're losing your family. Rocky, you're doing everything wrong. What was it? I don't know what Rocky was doing wrong in that movie. If anybody knows what Rocky did wrong in that movie, please let me know. Why was Adrian yelling at Rocky like he was doing something wrong? His brat son was getting jealous of Tommy Gunn for no reason. Okay? Rocky was doing the right thing, letting him live with them while he was at the cusp of becoming a world champion. Right? It kept him out of the ring, and it was bringing home a paycheck. But does anybody know what Rocky did wrong? Why was Adrian yelling at him?
Wait, which movie? You talking about the one with Tommy Gunn?
Yeah, his son was jealous of Tommy. Hey, look, but what happened? What happened to his son in the Creed movies? Did they ever explain what happened to Rocky's kid?
Yeah. He sells insurance up in Canada. He moved.
Oh, okay. And what happened to Adrian? She passed away.
Yeah, she had woman's cancer. They said. Rocky said
she wanted too much money, so they killed her off. That's what happened. She wanted too much money.
It's a movie D style though. How can you criticize it? It's the evolving life of Rocky, bro. We saw him from a contender to a champ, to a ex-champ, to bankruptcy, to back again, to running a restaurant, man, to training a fucking another fighter, to going back in the ring, to getting Apollo's kid, man. It's like, whew. It takes the wind out of you, bro. The entire life of Rocky, man, and that's why I said, man, I can't make one my favorite because it's just one after another after another. It's a sequel.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, really quick, Mark Nash, I know you got to go, brother. Tell everybody where they can find you. We'd like to have you back on in the future, brother.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Yeah. You already know it's your favorite neighbor, your man Mark Nash. He is I am he. Have a dope channel here on YouTube. It's called Breaking Beats, where we break down business, entertainment, art, technology, sports, and anything else you and I feel like talking about. It's a hip-hop political sports show with a comedy twist. We like to let the jokes fly. You know why? Because life is serious enough. We go live usually Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I try to do the show at 10 o'clock, but today I'm gonna be a little late because I would be remiss if I didn't do the show today. You know, you and I have been trying to set this up for a couple weeks now. So I'm gonna be a little late doing my show today, so I'll probably be on about 10:30. But it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We go live. Other than that, I might do a pop-up episode here and there. But yeah, man. And you can find me on YouTube, just how you see it on the screen, Mark Nash, MarqNash. And thank you again for having me. Always remember, dreams require sleep, goals require effort. Go out there and get your goals. I'm about to go get some dinner for my family. And yeah, I'll see y'all at 10:30. Thanks for having me.
Hey,
So
thanks for
salute,
coming on,
Mark
bro.
Nash.
My brothers, peace.
Be cool, respect.
Sean,
Yeah,
you
shout
got a
out to-
channel? Sean Hicks. I think I follow everybody else up here. You got a channel, Sean?
Yeah, Long Live Boxing. We also got a website, longliveboxing.com.
All right, I'm gonna lock in right now. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Much respect.
God bless.
There
Peace.
we go.
Let me
Fernando
press save,
Llamas.
D, but don't kick me out. Let me copy and paste Sean's link.
Sure, no problem, brother. I got you. Hey, Nando Llamas in the building says salute to the panel, to the chat. Peace to everyone. It's Memorial Day. Look, all I know is that Adrian was yelling at Rocky for no damn reason. Okay, like I know what Rocky was doing wrong. What Rocky was trying to. She told him, "No, I'll support you as long as you don't get in the ring and get your head bashed in." Right? He found a way. He was training a young up and coming dude. And we all know Rocky had his shit together because he got Tommy Gunn ready. Okay. Now another thing about Rocky 5, before we go to the real boxing, just one more comment about this movie. Rocky's reasoning for not just going straight to the title when the title shot was offered to Tommy makes no fucking sense, right? Because Rocky never earned a shot. He didn't wait for the right moment. He was literally just given a shot. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, okay. TBH back in the building. How's it going, TBH?
I'm straight, man. What's good?
Hey, TBH, why was Adrian yelling at Rock in Rocky 5? Or what happened?
Casual boxing fan. That's what that is, man. Hey, the wife was a gold digger.
Okay. Wow, damn. And you know what the worst part is, and I hate to keep harping up on this, right? Adrian's brother was the reason he was broke. Because he lost all the money while he was out there in Russia fighting for free, which makes no fucking sense. That's another stupid thing. Well, what do you mean he agreed to fight Drago for no money? Like, who does that? Like that makes no fucking sense. You're the A side. You're Rocky Balboa. Yeah, I'm gonna go fight him in Moscow, for no money. So what the fuck? That's the dumbest shit ever, right? So anyway, maybe she was mad. Like it was her way of saying, I told you not to fight that fucking Russian. But no, you have to go out there and fight him. Just saying. Any other Rocky comments before we proceed?
It's classics, man. Bruce is right. I mean, you put me in the room, I'm watching them, and I could have something else to do, like my job or help my kids. Rocky's coming first.
Man, Rocky's coming for really, man. That's crazy. All right, look. So much more to talk about, so let's get right to it. Tank Davis knocks Rolly Romero out. Let me say this. So this is how I saw the fight, and I'll let you guys kind of say how you saw it. I just feel like Tank knew Rolly was going to make mistakes. Like he just knew it. So he avoided engagement, allowed Rolly to come in. That's going to force Rolly to extend more, right? And while Rolly had some moments, for the most part, I never once felt like, oh man, Tank's in trouble. Oh, like this fight's leaving Tank. Oh my God, Tank better turn this thing around soon, or it's imminent. He's going to lose. I just felt pretty confident that he was just going to wait for Rolly to make a big mistake, which he did, and he countered him. And I feel like the longer it went, even if he didn't knock him out there, he was just going to start making more and more mistakes. And I felt like it was just inevitable. And I think Tank knew that. I think Tank understood, look, I don't need to stand in front of this dude. I could just take my time, and eventually he's going to make a mistake, and I'm going to catch him, right? But I want to know what you guys think about the fight. Bruce Goes, talk to us, brother. How did you see it? Bruce Gas.
Bruce Gas. There we go. Yeah, that's my pimping name I'm using on YouTube from now on, bro. But, bro, it was It was probably the most anticipated fight of the week, of course, and we're having some good fights week after week after week. It almost reminds me of the old days, bro, when we used to get fucking, a Guayo fighting every weekend. But bro, it's it was the only decent fight of the night, man. I watched this card that people said it was a pay-per-view, and I'm saying, what moron in their right mind would pay $80 to watch this undercard where we saw John L. Sullivan and Miguel Lara.
Spike O'Sullivan, not John O'Sullivan.
Well, he looked like John L. Sullivan to me, bro, and he kind of had that that stand up going on, and there we go, bro, the trademark. But when it get to that main event, I think Rolly, I think he realized after a couple of rounds he was in over his head, and he was in survival mode, because the thing about Tank is, bro, I mean, he has got power regardless of what you want to say about him, or what you want to say about his loyalty, his boxing skills, anything you want to say. He's got that one punch knockout power anytime he lands either hand, bro. I mean, that he punches as hard as heavyweights. It's been proven up there, bro. He did it on that PSI punching meter they had, where they compared his shots above most heavyweights and just below Wilder's at the time. So, bro, I mean, this kid is going to sell. And the fight the other night, I think as soon as Rolly realized that he was in survival mode, and I mean the knockout punch, Rolly didn't complain when he got up. He afterwards he got his wits together and he's complaining the next day. Oh, I want to do over. I made a mistake, bro. You had 6 months to train for this fight. Yeah, you made a mistake. That's the way it goes. Rolly, I think he can still get another fight too, because he didn't get beat up bad. I think somebody mentioned it earlier. He got knocked out. He doesn't even remember he got knocked out. He thinks he was ahead in the fight. So, man, Rolly might come back. And the way that 135 division is, it's a money division. It's made for names fighting other names. It's going to sell. Tank, I think Tank's in that elite class now. I don't think he has to look for people. I think they should look for him, and they should get that Four Kings, whatever they want to call it, Ryan Garcia in there, man. I heard Lomachenko on there today talking, and then we got the tussle in Australia this weekend, bro. I mean, Tank's. I think he's the favorite in there, if you ask me. And bro, he's the only guy in that group. One punch, anytime, anywhere, and the fight's over. And that's what boxing loves. They love the knockout. We like to see Shakur Stevens. We like to see Devin Haney, but man, when it comes to the lights out knockout, that's where Tank really fits in nicely in the lightweight division, bro. And I'm riding with Tank right now, man. I want to see him get tested. I want to see him get knocked down, get cut, see what he's doing. And but right now he's hot commodity in boxing, and I'm digging what Tank's doing.
Absolutely. Calix in the building. First of all, Calix, before we continue, give us your thoughts on Robert Garcia working with AG, if that happens to be true. What are your thoughts on that?
It's Robert Garcia is a great trainer. I just don't like, at a certain point, a guy is who he is, right? So I don't know what you can do with him in that short period of time. I know Robert Garcia can put together a game plan, but can Anthony Joshua execute it against a master class boxer like Usyk, who already did to him what he did to him? I mean, it's going to be tough, but I think Robert Garcia is going to try to tailor a game plan to where he's more offensive, more aggressive, trying to get the knockout against a smaller fighter. But can he pull that off is the question. Can you teach an old dog new tricks? I just don't know if he'll be able to train Anthony Joshua to execute that game plan in a short period of time against a guy like Usyk. If this was a tune-up fight, D-style, if he had 1 or 2, 3 tune-up fights before you get to Usyk, a guy like that, then I'd say, okay, that type of relationship, trainer-fighter, it needs to be worked on. And in that short period of time, I don't think he'll be able to execute that game plan. But I like Robert Garcia. If there's a guy, if there's a guy to do this with, it would be Robert Garcia. But I just don't. I'm not buying Anthony Joshua beating Usyk in the second fight. I think it's gonna be more of the same.
Okay. So now the question at hand is, well, what are your general thoughts about the Tank Davis Raleigh fight, the fight itself?
it was what it was a Tank fight, right? I mean, Tank, to his credit, he's a great draw. We now have, he sold out in LA. He sold out in Washington, D.C. He sold out in Atlanta. He's now sold out in New York. So the guy's a draw. He can draw, and he's drawing against guys who aren't big B-sides, right? So he's drawing with guys like Rolly Romero, like against guys like Isaac Cruz, Matteo Batio. So he's drawing against these guys. And to Tank's credit, man, he can draw, and he's exciting. I think he's a vulnerable fighter who you can win rounds against. He throws 37 punches per round, so he's an economical fighter, but he's trying to take your head off with every punch. He's landing 47% of his power shots, so he's accurate. So he's skating that line, right, to where if you're that economical, this is the question I have, and I think this is why they've been so hesitant to put him in there with top competition, is if you're that type of economical fighter, look at the rounds he's dropping. I had him down 3-2 against Rolly. Isaac Cruz, that was a close fight. Matteo Batio, it was 5-5 at the time of stoppage on a lot of people's scorecards. So he's dropping rounds against guys like this. So once he steps up, I think anybody with activity and a good chin is going to give him problems. Anybody with activity and a good chin is going to give him problems. But the fun thing about Tank is the fight can stop on a dime like that. He lands that one punch. He sits on it. You saw it against Rolly. He sits on it. He can end the fight. The guy's got one punch knockout power. But I keep going back to this, and I keep getting called a hater for it. But why is it that, and I saw Michael Montero bring it up on Twitter earlier, and I've been bringing up this point, is if you look between 126 and 140, those 4 divisions, he's fought one guy that's currently in the top 10 in any of those divisions. That's 40 fighters. He's got one guy in the top 10. That's Isaac Cruz. And they keep doing this thing where they build up the fighter that Tank just beat in order to try to make it look like Tank beat great opposition. But over time, you see these guys start to fall out of the rankings. I just don't know, man. There's a reason why his career turns a decade old, D-Style, in February 2023. Why is he not facing top competition? Why? What are they hiding from us? There's got to be something. And in order for me to be sold on, like, you can't, I don't understand why people are having him in the discussion for top 10, top 15, pound for pound. How do you get there with this resume? How do you get there? And on top of that, how do you get there when you're losing rounds against guys who, I mean, if you look at BoxRec, Rolly Romero was number 21 at lightweight. He wasn't even in the top 20. So these are I have in order.
You know what I got to say about Tank too. I don't like the way he's always looking at the referee. He's always claiming low blows. I mean, it's almost like a beta instinct that he has. He's always looking for a way out. It seems. Well, no, really. I mean, he makes that look on his face like, "Come on, what are you letting him do to me?" And that's not championship material right there. That's just one thing I want to say about Tank that I don't like.
And that was a criticism I had too, is the referee I felt in that fight was favoring Tank. I thought in the clinches, he kept warning Rolly Romero for holding the head down and elbowing. But when Tank comes in with his head down like that, what do you want him to do? And I actually thought he stopped the fight early, but I thought that robbed Tank of a, I mean, that would have been ugly had he let Rolly go back out there. But I felt he robbed Tank of a decisive stoppage because Rolly was talking trash after the fight like Rolly does, that I was dominating the fight until he caught that. I just think I would have liked to have seen the referee let Rolly go back out there and let Tank do what Tank does. But it's a mixed bag with me for Tank. It always has been. It's like I feel like we've been saying this for 4 or 5 years, like since the Pedraza fight. And that was his best victory, in my opinion, Pedraza. But I feel like since then we've been saying, when are they going to step him up? I like everything else about him except not facing top competition. If he does that, I'd be his biggest fan. But because I like vulnerable fighters, I like guys who go for knockouts. I like aggressive fighters. And here's another thing I noticed too, D-Style. I don't want to take up too much time, but it's one thing I noticed is with a lot of Tank fans in the past, they've told us in the past here on the YTBC and on Twitter that it's not good to get hit. It's just not good to get hit. It's all about hit and not get hit. And now all of a sudden, Tank is the exception to that. Tank is this masterclass boxer who's losing rounds and getting hit. What happened? When I was saying Golovkin, I almost feel like in the past, Golovkin purposely gets hit to lure his opposition into a fight. I feel like he did it against Kell Brook. But I was told after that fight that Golovkin is a C-level fighter because he gets hit too much. Well, what about Tank? Now I'm being told he's a masterclass, top 10 pound-for-pound talent, and he's getting hit and losing rounds against guys like Rolly. I never bought into Rolly. I don't think he's a good fighter. I think he's an average fighter. I think the same thing about Matteo Barrios. Isak Cruz a little better, but I'm not fully on board.
I hear you, brother. Look, here's what I'll say. Okay. First of all, you gotta put respect in Mario Barrios' name. That's number one. Okay, like we gotta put respect on the Aztec warrior. What was that his name? The Aztec. Let me tell you something. He went out there. He hurt Keith Thurman in the 10th round with a body shot. Like everybody's pretending that he didn't hurt Keith Thurman late in that fight. That's all I got to say about that. But with that said, I agree with a lot of what you said, right? But let's get somebody else in here. TBH, Tank versus Raleigh, brother. What you think about it?
Tank versus which guy again?
Well, the guy he fought, brother, Raleigh. The guy that his nickname is Rolly, and he rolls with no shots.
You mean Roly Poly Yoli?
That's him.
Rolly the retard. Yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. Shout out to people that special needs, but that guy need help, man. But I mean, I'm pretty sure that Tank Davis took a couple brain cells, off his life with that knockout or that stoppage, I should say. Yeah. Look, to the point that Calix Boxing was just saying a second ago, the hit and not get hit, that is a very rudimentary, very, very rudimentary understanding to boxing. Because look, if you can take a good punch and you can lure somebody in because you just know that you hit that hard and you know that you have the type of power to put somebody out, that is a tactic in and of itself. Just because somebody gets hit and he hits that, to me, I think, I'm gonna be honest with you, that's a casual and very two-grade level of thinking when it comes to boxing. Boxing is very more complex than that. Yeah, you don't want to get hit and you want to hit the other opponent, but at the same time, this is professional boxing. This is not the amateur. This is not the point fighting system that's in boxing. This is the professionals. If you can take a good hit and you can lure somebody in because you know that you have that equalizer, that one shot to put somebody away, then that's what the hell you do, especially against someone like Raleigh, who in and of himself is not that skilled and not that coordinated and doesn't have the brains or the brain cells that function well to understand what the hell was about to happen and what he was getting lured into. What Tank did, look, it was impressive, but everybody that understands boxing knows that Raleigh is not a good fighter. 14-0 don't mean shit when your best one is Yiggit. Someone named you, can you dig it, Yiggit, coming off a 2-day notice of the fight. That's your best win. I mean, at the end of the day, man, Tank is 27 years old. He needs to go ahead and fight somebody for real this time, man. Fight someone who's actually good. Mario Barrios is not good, and neither is this dude, Raleigh. He is a C-, D+ level fighter. So It's time for Tank to stop the bullshit. If he really wants to fight somebody, man, look, fight the winner. You have the power. You can lead Mayweather and be your own guy if that's what's keeping you, fight the undisputed champion or fight Lomachenko, who you've been ducking for the last 8 years, man. One of those two or Ryan Garcia. If you can't fight one of those three guys, then you're just you ain't shit to me, man. You know, and this is coming from a Tank Davis fan, bro, on everything.
Hey, really quick to the chat. Hey, make sure you hit my like button. All right. If you're here, hit that like. Let's get to 50 ASAP. All right. Also, I have a poll up, and we're going to talk about this after this, but is Tank the face of boxing, like I'm hearing some live streams out here say? All right. We're going to talk about that one. I'm going to bring some facts out too. All right. But first, Gringo, what you think of the fight, brother?
First, I got to show some love for, got the post press conference shirt on from a man, Rolly. Purple Rain in the house. I like retards and I like shitty Rocky movies. Part 3 was my favorite. So I'll just go ahead and say that it was like Leonard Ellerby said, people want to see entertainment, and I was entertained. So I can see why people are drawn to it. But to my man Calic's boxing point, and to a lot of what you're seeing, it does get old. Just like Tank is getting old. On November 7th, he's going to be 28 years old. So the fact that he hasn't fought a top talent, he's been with Mayweather since 2015. Something's got to give. So there are levels to this, but it's hard to get truly excited. Do I appreciate his patience? Yeah. Setting up traps, making weight, looking like he was well-trained, prepared. He set up traps, but he did what he was supposed to do. So we got to kind of temper our enthusiasm. But at what point is he truly going to go for greatness? And at this point, it's kind of hard to say, but I think the time is now. I keep hearing from, Tank supporters, my man, the historian, but a lot of other Tank supporters kind of making, we'll just say, for lack of a better word, excuses that other people price themselves out. I don't know. I mean, other people understand that he's a draw. Obviously, he's the face of boxing from the standpoint of people want to see him fight. A lot of hardcore boxing fans like ourselves that, want to see him do more and, achieve more. But some people are kind of content with it. So it's kind of a catch-22. It's frustrating because I have people in my family that couldn't wait. This was, people that I didn't think cared about boxing at all were having boxing parties. So he's doing something right from that standpoint. I just wish he would do something right for boxing and fight better competition. And again, shout out to Rolly for making it entertaining because at first I didn't want to see the fight, but then I couldn't get enough of the press conferences, post, pre, shit. But no, he doesn't deserve a rematch. Not at all. Shout out to the short bus.
Hey, but I'm telling you right now, the guy's like I exposed him. Okay, I want a rematch with Tank. I want a rematch. Like he might get his rematch, by the way. They might actually do this. It might be the first out of a new fight deal if this happens. And here's my issue, and I'm going to keep it 100, right, with Tank. First of all, Tank Davis is one, and whoever says no, you're lying. He's one of the most exciting fighters to watch. Okay. Tank Davis is one of the most exciting fighters to watch in the sport of boxing. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. All right. Before we even get started with our opinions or nothing, to me, anyone who says, nah, Tank's not exciting to watch, it's a non-starter to me. Right. That's number one. Second, I just think he just knew Raleigh was going to make some mistakes and he was going to catch him. I just think he knew that, right? So it didn't matter to him if he gave away 1 or 2 rounds or 3 rounds because he knew that was going to happen. Is that the right game plan against certain other? Probably not, right? But I just think he was fairly confident, and we know that because I don't think he respected Raleigh coming in. And for anybody who wants to come out and defend Raleigh as an opponent, ladies and gentlemen, Exhibit A, his name is Tank Davis, okay? The guy's not awkward. He fights dumb. The guy sucks. The guy doesn't even belong in the ring with me. That's the type of shit Tank Davis was saying. Not me. I didn't say that, right? Tank Davis said these things. Tank Davis knows he hasn't fought the best because when he's asked about fighting the best, what does he say? Well, nobody else is fighting the best. That's not the response you give if you are fighting the best, right? The response is, no, I'm fighting the best. They're not fighting the best, okay? I was taught as a little kid, all right, to take ownership for what you do, all right? Hey, why don't you clean your room? Well, my brother didn't clean his room. I get slapped over my head if I said that, okay? Because they didn't ask me about my brother. I haven't cleaned my room. I can't say, well, he hasn't cleaned his room, right? Well, he hasn't fought nobody. At the end of the day, Tank Davis is 27 years old. He's 27. I'm seeing content creators like dissect everything Canelo's doing. But then like they just give Tank a pass. Like nothing. No, we're not gonna do that. They're only like 3-4 years apart. Does anybody know that? Like, he's not like Canelo's not that much older than Tank. He just isn't. At Tank's age, Canelo's fighting Triple G. At that age, he was a 2-division champion, a legitimate champion. He was a lineal middleweight champion. So let's just put that in perspective. Tank Davis had a good amateur career. He's had several dozen fights. It's time. It's time for him to step up and fight somebody of note. I love watching the guy fight. He's exciting to watch, but it's time to step up. And I don't think it's a big deal if he loses. No one on this panel, no one watching the show, no boxing fans going to stop watching Tank if he takes an L. Nobody. Tank Davis got nothing to sweat if he loses because he's exciting to watch. If he would have lost the Pitbull Cruz fight, it might have been the best thing that could happen because now there would be no old to protect. There'll be none of that, right? That's just my personal opinion. I want to see Tank Davis step up, okay? I want to see Tank Davis, fight these top guys. I want to see him against the winner of Kambosos Haney. I want to see him fight the best. Why? Because I believe he is one of the best fighters out there. Okay, which brings me to my next question. And yes, this is a serious question. Is Tank Davis, I'll go to you first, Alex, the face of boxing? I was told, or I heard, Canelo lost, so he can't be the face no more. Now Tank Davis is the face of the sport. What do you think?
No. That's all I got. No.
Okay.
It's so stupid, though. Like, no. I mean, what are we considering the face of boxing?
Like the biggest name, the biggest group.
Look, I give Tank all the credit that he deserves. Like I said, can you think of another American fighter who can sell out in LA, Atlanta, DC, and New York? And he did that. I mean, look, he just sold out Barclays after selling out those 3 cities. So he's a draw, man. Like he's not a pay-per-view star, but I think that has something to do with the lack of B-side, right? If they're not going to step him up, how can you sell pay-per-views? But he's an attraction. He's a main event attraction that people are going to come out to see. You got to give him credit. But the face of boxing, he's far from that. Far from that. Okay. Not even close. No, not even close.
TBH, is Tank Davis the face of boxing?
Yeah, listen.
See, yeah.
Tank Davis is not the face of no damn boxing, bro. All right. Yeah, he can sell out tickets, which some of the, Al Heyman and them guys and Showtime or whoever else they are giving away tickets and selling tickets, or giving away tickets and whatnot for free. We're not going to talk about that, but yeah, he is a draw and whatnot, but this has nothing to do with him being the face of boxing. To be the face of boxing, you have to draw a lot of attraction and attention and be in the conscience of the everyday fan. And it really, if you think about it, Canelo's close to it, but really, we don't really have a face of boxing right now. To a certain demographic of people, one or two guys can be that guy, but in the conscious minds of people in America and throughout the world, there there really ain't none. And Tank Davis is not one at all. And he's garnered a little bit of popularity, but not really. Not like that. I mean, I think that with boxing fans, it's more of you live in a small bubble, which is like 5%, like probably a microcosm of the world, like 5% of the microcosm of the world. Whereas the other 95% of people really don't know majority of the boxers that are fighting in the sport right now. Let's just keep it a buck. All right, and that's just a fact. And Tank, as popular as he is, he's nowhere near that.
Okay.
But with that said, salute to the panel, salute to D Style Boxing, and salute to everybody in the chat. I'm about to jump off of here. But considering you were going to talk about Deontay Wilder, the only thing I'm going to say about that guy, bum squad, and I'm out.
Damn. Man, he just like sat there and left. Okay, I see how that is. All right, Gringo, talk to us, brother. Face of boxing?
So to your question, the face of boxing, no, but I think he has the potential to be a big star in boxing to where people are more aware of him. And that's on him, honestly. To not be withheld and restraints of your promotion team, of the Mayweather protective goggles, of being withheld from fighting real competition. So yeah, you can go to these cities. That's a huge draw, and that's great. But that's the beginning of laying the ground foundation for being the star you could be. I still say the star of boxing or the face of boxing. To me, it's still Canelo globally. I think it's Canelo hands down. It's not even close. I think potentially Tank could be one of these stars. And if you ask most people, hey, can you name a boxer? You name three. I would say people would probably say Canelo, Ryan Garcia, and Tank. And probably AJ. Most likely. So from that standpoint, I would say he's potentially could be an ascending star, but he could also just be treading water if he doesn't make any moves. It's on him. It has nothing to do with me.
Gotcha. Bruce, go. Same question to you, brother. Is Tank Davis the face of boxing or close to it?
Well, like we were talking about earlier, bro. He's a one-punch light turner-outer. He's a one-punch knockout artist, and fans love that, man. The face of boxing, bro. Jerry Cooney was the face of boxing for a while. He never won a championship. He had that one-punch knockout power. Fans loved that, and he was a white guy too. Larry Holmes kicked his ass, but Larry Holmes was never the face of boxing, and he was the best heavyweight for 7 years, bro. The guys people love one-hit knockout punches. John the Beast Mugabe. Thomas Hearns, Ernie Shavers. Even and some when they get beat, they still rise. They still pull it together. So I think right now the mystique is with Tank. And the face of boxing, it's a real broad term. And right now with social media, there's a lot of room for a lot of faces of boxing. There can be a different communities that accept one fighter, and fanboys and dude, it's a crazy world out there. It's more passion over principle as far as boxing concerned. And the face of boxing to you is not the face of boxing to me. But he could be, bro, if he gets his face on Time Magazine and enough people behind him. But then next week, we're in an era where we have a very, very short extension span. We have very, very short loyalties. When Usyk beat Joshua, I heard so many people they were going to name their sons Alexander. He was the man. He was the best. And then the next week we saw Charlo beat Castano, and all of a sudden Mel Charlo was the man. So it's face of boxing that doesn't hold much water, bro. Like I said, there's so many platforms can have so many different faces. Damn. I like you just mentioned Deontay Wilder. Some people say he's still the face of boxing, bro. So
I got you.
Is the face of boxing right there, huh?
There you go. Bruce Goss. There you go. And let me tell you guys something. So I was thinking about it. And for those saying, come on, these ain't nobody saying that shit. Okay, first of all you dudes talking about he's the face of boxing, where the fuck you at? That's number one. It's easy to be in your little bubbles and agree with each other and all this good stuff. Let me just give you the facts. So here's the reality, okay? Either Tank's the face of boxing, and that's the cap boxing, like that's the ceiling for boxing right now, or he's not the face of boxing, right? It's one or the other. So let's look at both, right? If he's the face of boxing, then that means that the biggest star in the sport could do no more than $5 million at the gate. That's it. Could do no more than 250,000 buys on pay-per-view. That would mean that and we don't do pound for pound for pay-per-view buys like a lot of you trying to do out here, okay? Like, yeah, it's 250, brother. Like, he's a lightweight, though. If lightweights, for a lightweight, that's like $1 million for a heavyweight. And we're not gonna do pound for pound for the pay-per-view buys. Okay, we don't add to the pay-per-view buys because you're lightweight. I don't give a shit if you're a featherweight, strawweight. Either you're that dude or you're not. When Delaya Trinidad did over $1 million, because they did over $1 million, right? When that happened, guess what? They didn't say, oh, that's good for welterweight. It's 1.4 for welterweight. No, they said those motherfuckers said 1.4 million. That's what they said. Okay? Well, when Morales Barrera were doing over like 250,000 or whatever, they were featherweights. They just said those were good numbers, period. Okay? If you have to add, well, for a little guy, that's pretty good. Then at that point, what are we doing? Okay? With that said, when Tank Davis, let me just put this out there right now. When Tank Davis does, I don't know, like, what's a good number to give the dude? I mean, let's help the dude out a little bit. When Tank Davis does over 10 million at the gate, call me. How about that? And then maybe I'll entertain the discussion. When Tank Davis touches, when he sniffs, just a little bit, just sniffs. I don't give a shit. When the day Coppinger puts out that Tank Davis did 600,000 buys, then maybe I'll have a discussion with you. Till then, sit your asses down, okay? Because Canelo Alvarez is the face of boxing. Whether you like it, whether you like the dude, don't like the dude, it doesn't matter. It doesn't. He's the most popular boxer, and look, people. There is no. Like, there's one dude that's the most popular boxer in the sport, okay, and that's Canelo, in my opinion. All right. When AJ was the heavyweight champion, he had an argument. The Fury has a better argument than Tank. He just does. Okay. The dude had a packed house in Wembley. All right. Oh, but Tank did 19,000 at Barclays. Okay. Good for him. All right. 5 million, which is solid, doesn't make you the face. Okay. And no, you don't stop being the face because you lost the fight. That's not how it works. All right. Sorry. You want to rename it? Who's the most popular boxer in the sport? All right. I haven't seen Tank in no stadium. I haven't seen Tank sniff anything over 250,000 buys. I haven't seen Tank even touch that. He's not even in the same stratosphere. All right. He's not even there. And I know you're listening. And I know I got your fucking ear. All right. You're sounding ridiculous out here talking about Tank being the face of boxing. You're sounding ridiculous. It's crazy. Sorry. All right. Well, that's it. We're going to move on. All right. We're going to move on. Just really quick. Audio already touched on it, but just really quick. Raleigh wants to run it back. Gringo, any interest in ever seeing Raleigh fight Tank again?
No. I was hoping it'd be more competitive, but honestly, it played out the way we kind of all knew it would. He went as far as he could with his ability. Tank played it perfectly. He set him up. He waited, landed the perfect shot, and it ended. And to Calix's point, if the referee would allow that fight to happen, he kept Tank from going to jail because he would have killed Raleigh. So I don't ever want to see that again. But shout out to Rolly and to Bullet. They did the best they could, and they got a 7-figure payday. I mean, shit. Just think about that. Short bus or not. Shit. Man. Props.
Oh man. Are you interested in ever seeing Raleigh fight Tank again, Bruce?
No, I don't really think Raleigh is either. He came to his senses. Maybe he talked to his manager. Raleigh's the kind of a guy where you could beat him up 10 times and he's going to come back for 10 more beatings. That's that extra chromosome in his head there. But nobody's going to see it. It's not going to happen, bro. Maybe if Raleigh suddenly gets this push and goes and beats a Kambosos or a Haney or a Lomo, then maybe. But if he stays doing what he's doing, nah.
Gotcha.
Lucky if he makes a top 10 fight.
Hey, boxing fan times 4, 199, Super Chad. Raleigh should go to the UFC, he says. Hey, shout out to you. I appreciate the support, brother. Calix, I don't know the answer is no, so let me just switch it a little bit. Are you disappointed with the way Tank decided to fight Raleigh? Did you want him to go in and just annihilate him? Like, what were you expecting?
No, it was smart. It was smart to soften him up a little bit. like I said, it is troubling though that he's losing these rounds. But this is the fourth time I've seen Rolly fight, and I've just never been impressed. I thought he lost the Marinez fight. I thought he looked terrible against Yigit. He talked his way into this fight. He's not a top 20 guy at the weight. It's just disappointing. Like I said, there's a lot to like about Tank. But at some point, if he's this talented, he's going to have to show it against a top opponent. But there are red flags there if he's losing these rounds against guys like this. I don't know what else to say, but rematch, no. I don't even want to see Rolly against another top 10 lightweight. I don't think he fits. I don't see a guy in the top 10 right now that he could beat. I actually think if you look at the other guys in the top 10, he probably would have the most success against what he did against Tank, winning some rounds, because it's going to be tough for him to get rounds against other guys in the top 10 if you look at the landscape.
Absolutely. Hey, shout out to G Funky. Later tonight on this channel, make sure you check out Challenges Ahead, Roblox. We keep everything in house. You know what I mean? So make sure you check out his show tonight. That's G Funky Boxing tonight. Okay, so just FYI. Look, I don't want to see the fight again. I saw what I saw, and I think Rolly knows how to fight one way. Tank will just have to do the same thing every fight, and he's going to lose. He's eventually going to make a mistake, right? It's eventually going to happen, and that's that. That's the way it's going to happen. So let's go ahead and proceed here. I think I have an echo on my end. I'm trying to figure out my echo because I see you guys muted and I hear myself. So while I figure that out, I want to go ahead and proceed to the next topic here. All right. Wilder. He said the line, boxing dies without excitement at heavyweight. Do you guys buy that? Calix, to start with you.
No, I don't agree with that.
Without the excitement of a heavyweight, American heavyweight champion. I'm sorry, I forgot that part, but go ahead.
No, I think those days are over. I think boxing's thriving right now. I mean, I tweeted that out earlier. Like, all the news dropping, all the fights that are being announced after this great run we've had already, boxing's on fire right now, and it's doing it largely without the help of the heavyweight division, right? That being said, I would love to see Deontay Wilder back. Respectfully to the boxing historian earlier, I disagree that Wilder's a bum. I never thought that. And I know what people are saying, like he's not a great boxer, he just has the right hand, but that's all you need. And it's not a strong division. It hasn't been a strong division. It's actually historically weak right now. But I think if you look at that division from 3 to 10, I think he matches up well with everybody else, not named Tyson Fury. I do think Usyk would throw him fits, but he could possibly knock out the smaller guy there too. But I would pick Usyk against him. But 3 through 10, I'd pick Wilder against all those guys. I still think he would knock Anthony Joshua out. I guess I'm higher on Wilder than a lot of other guys, but I think he adds intrigue to the division, especially for American fight fans. I think I would love to see Wilder versus Anthony Joshua in the UK. I would love to see Wilder versus Andy Ruiz here. Those are fights I want to see still, even with the losses. So I want him to come back. I'd welcome him back with open arms. I still have that sour taste in my mouth from him throwing his trainer under the bus. Hate that. Hate it. It was vile. It was terrible to do. But you can't deny that a heavyweight, American heavyweight, who can knock anybody out with one punch, still has the greatest weapon in boxing, arguably. You can't deny that. That would be great to see him come back.
No, I agree 100%. I agree. Look. He could possibly beat everybody except Fury. Like, I could see that. But Bruce goes. What do you think of Wilder? He's talking about coming back, but what do you think about the line saying, hey, the division just isn't the same. It doesn't survive without an exciting American heavyweight champion.
I'm a heavyweight fan, D Styles. I don't know if you watch what I talk about, but it's really predominantly heavyweight boxing. I was weaned on it. I even put something in Twitter today. The first fight that I saw, the first fight that I watched from beginning to end, didn't even watch it. I listened to it on the radio. Was Joe Frazier and Jimmy Ellis, and you know I've just been intrigued with heavyweights, and I really think, see, I think I'm a microcosm of the rest of the world. Us boxing fans, we love all way. We could see flyweights kicking ass, middleweights, all the way up. And if it's good action, boxing is thriving. But you go out in the general public, and I mean, I take Tank Davis for a coffee with me up the street. Nobody's gonna know who he is, bro. I mean, that's the reality. But if I brought Tyson Fury up there, bro, the fucking mall would be crowded. It would be nuts, because I think the general public, they generated the heavyweight boxing, and Deontay Wilder, he's like a tank. He's like a tank. He's got that one punch power. He's got blind followers. He could make some money in the heavyweight division. He could get the fights because he's got the name, and he'll sell. I mean, pay-per-view, I think that's, we were talking about that a little bit earlier. I think that's a foregone conclusion. Pay-per-view is not going to be what they thought it was. It can't survive anybody. If somebody like myself, who didn't even know what an internet was a few years ago, can get any fight out there, bro. I mean, you know, it's just it's a fact that pay-per-view is not going to survive. Sponsorship, that's another thing, man. That's how boxing thrived back in the day. But Deontay Wilder, I think he could make a big splash, and like I said earlier, when the heavyweights start to make noise, I think it wakes the whole public up, and that's when they look down, they see the light heavyweights and the middleweights and the other divisions below that. But for boxing to be accepted by the general public, you know, the heavyweight champion of the world, that's Superman, bro. When I grew up, that was my hero, man. You know.
Absolutely. Gringo, how do you feel about that? Do you think the heavyweight division needs an exciting American heavyweight in it?
I don't feel that way, but to our brother Bruce Gass's point, I think a lot of people casually do feel that way. It moves the needle more than anything. And I think right now, college boxing is right. Boxing is on fire, man. I love it. Like, I'm shooting it up like a drug. No pun intended. But I think when he's making that statement, we got to realize the source, and like he's realizing where it's coming from. He's referring to, that's his way of telling the world he's coming back. That's how I look at it. You know, he's the U.S. heavyweight. He's the U.S. heavyweight in his mind. They just had a statue that he made out with in Alabama. So he's telling the world he's coming back. And the Fury really is retired. Man, talk about some great matchups. And that just kind of opened things up. Other than Usyk, I don't think there's anyone, everybody else, I think he could beat, honestly. And with that Thor hammer in his hand, we can say what we want. And, you know, he wears clothes like he's from Morocco or something. But that brother, he's always in great shape, always, irregardless of his morality and what he's done to like his trainers and things like that, which, you know, I'm not a big fan of at all. You know, you got to be loyal. But as far as like in the ring, yeah, I do think that that would be great as far as excelling the sport to another level. But I do personally feel, as far as boxing fans, we're contented, we're happy, because the way the sport is flourishing with great matchups, exciting fights, great topics. But at the same time, I do think that when he's making that statement, knowing that it's Wilder, knowing that he refers to himself as a king of Wakanda, a place that doesn't exist, he's referring to himself coming back. And hey, I'm all for it. Bring it on. You know, weird conspiracy theories and all. Because at the end of the day, we talk about Tank being must watch, Wilder's must watch.
Yeah, man. Here's what I want to say about it. For 2 years, I dealt with the whole Glovegate thing, and I honestly just I just want to put it behind me. You know, like I just want to like just leave it where it is. He lost the third fight. Like, you know what I mean? I think that answered everything we need to know. And it's like everybody just knows now. And I just want to, like, I think there's a redemption story for Wilder. Like, and I think it's there. Do I like what he said about Mark Breland spiking his, you know, water or whatever? I do not. But look, George Foreman accuses his people of drugging him. You know what I mean? He had a conspiracy of what happened over there, and like they set him up and they loosened the rope. Maybe they did loosen the ropes, but that aside, right? Like he obviously had his issues, but what happened? Like he overcame that. Like, you know what I mean? He went to beat, Frazier in the rematch, and then he took it was like a pretty long layoff, and then he makes this remarkable comeback, and then he becomes like in the 90s, like almost 2 decades removed. Like he becomes the oldest heavyweight champion in history. Now, I'm not saying that's what Wilder's going to do, but my point is that shows me that's never too late. And sometimes fighters give us things that are just bigger than the things we just dislike, right? So regardless of what was said, regardless of the cheating accusations and whatnot, right? Regardless of all that, which I personally didn't like, right? Regardless of it, Wilder and Fury gave us a classic in that their fight. Like I can't take that away. That was a great fight. I watched that in the theater. I know what I felt that night. I know what it was. A lot of people, they take the opportunity to shit on Wilder. He lost. Like, y'all know you were shitting bricks in that 4th round. Okay? Like, I don't give a shit what you say. You can say whatever you want right now. All right? But that's an emotion and a high. And, of course, when the fight's over, boom, it vanishes and it's gone. Like that feeling of when you see a puncher in the ring. I get that. And I do think the fight went a little too long, but that's my opinion. I don't like it, but I can respect a fighter saying, you know what, I want to go out of my shield. That's what he wants. You know what I mean? I don't have to like it, but that's what he wanted, right? So with that said, I think Wilder is a lot better than a lot of his detractors say, a lot better. And maybe he's not as good as some of his greatest fanatics say, but I guess all fighters have fanatics that overrate their dude. You know what I mean? So I would favor Wilder in a fight with AJ. And I think I would favor Usyk, but I wouldn't count Wilder out. Because if Wilder lands that right bomb on Usyk, I don't think Usyk gets up the way Fury got up. I just got to keep it real, right? Usyk's going to have a great night to win that fight, right? So, like, Deontay Wilder, I think, here's what I'll say about the exciting heavyweight champion. I'm not saying the sport needs it, but it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt the sport. You know what I mean? Because all our big fights, most of them are in the U.S., and it's the richest country in the world. It does help when we have a top heavyweight in this country. Like, whether people want to admit it or not, it just does, right? So that's how I personally feel about it. That's just my personal thoughts, okay? Now, I want to go on to our last topic of tonight. Kambosos. Haney arrives. They have a press conference. They have a face-off. Kambosos goes, I will play the audio if I wasn't fearful of copyright, by the way, but I can't do that. So, but I'll paraphrase. They didn't let his dad in. We did everything we could. I don't know if that's true. We did everything we could to get Bill in, but we couldn't get him in. But I'm surprised they let him in, because I didn't know they let informants in, because he's a spy. He's an informant. He was texting me everything Teofimo was doing. Oh, Teofimo is at the whorehouse. Oh, Teofimo, he's this. Teofimo's that. He's having problems with his wife. Apparently, Devin Haney was texting these things to Kambosos. He's calling him a snitch while being a snitch himself, but that's another story. Bruce Goss, what do you make of Kambosos saying these things?
Bro, I watched that, and I couldn't count how many times the word rat was used, accusation-wise. Bro, where I come from, you call somebody a rat one time, you better look for your teeth, man. You know, I mean, it's them's fighting words, as they say in the streets, bro. And I don't know if Teofimo knew what Devin was taking at that, but Devin was he was a cool cat in that interview, man. He was he's in a faraway place, you know. He's without his dad, so he has to use some decoy. He could get stabbed, booed, slapped, shot, whatever, man. He's not in friendly territory, you know. that being said, bro, I look at it different than a lot of people, man. You know, because I'm talking about heavyweights, man. I look at that like the place where Jack Johnson had to go to win his heavyweight title to become the first black heavyweight champion, bro. And he, if Devin thinks he's in hostile territory, how do you think Jack Johnson's felt, bro? And if he looked at it like that, man, I think he would see the historical value. I haven't heard that from anybody. I'm surprised, but I mean, you know, this is, I can't wait to see this fight. I think it's 50-50. There's so much intrigue there, and then seeing this today, you can see a lot of personal shit going down. And man, Saturday afternoon, bro, I'm gonna be sitting right here where I'm sitting now and smoking what I'm smoking now, and bro, this is going to be a great fight, man. And it's like every week it's getting better and better and better. Yeah. And then, you know, we're going to see so much good action, and this is right along with it, bro. I mean, you know, like you said, Cali, boxing is definitely healthy today for us. Other people have no idea who Kambosos is. My granddaughter thinks it's a guy from the Cat in the Hat, you know. So brother, you know, boxing is healthy for us. I think if the heavyweights can get a little healthier, Deontay Wilder can kick some ass, become the face of boxing, maybe. Then I think the trickle down effect, fans will start appreciating all this other great action that we're getting, you know, and maybe boxing will survive, you know.
I agree. I think you're referring to a Tommy Burns fight with Jack Johnson where he won the belt, right?
That's the one.
Yeah. But obviously, the film was destroyed for that one. No one's going to destroy the film for this one. Everyone's going to watch it. So, hey, Calix, what do you make of this, man? What you think of him calling him a rat? You're texting me, and do you believe him? Do you think Haney was really texting him these things?
I didn't know anything about this backstory until yesterday, and for him to say it and Haney not really to refute it, I do believe it. So I'm wondering, the question Teofimo needs to ask is, how is Haney getting this information for Haney to give?
Well, if he's at the whorehouse, I mean,
but you know, regardless of all of that, I think all is fair in war, and I think Kambosos is definitely trying to use this to get into Haney's head. He definitely got into Teofimo's head before the fight as well. I think Kambosos is an underrated trash talker. But I don't think Haney doesn't strike me as the guy it's going to work against. I just don't. I think he just strikes me as a level-headed dude, calm. And as a sidebar, I just have so much respect for these two fighters because Kambosos came into enemy territory, beat Teofimo, took his belts, comes back to Australia, and could have took some light touches, right? But instead, he's taking the undisputed fight. He wanted Lomachenko first. Either way, it's a tough fight. He's getting the undisputed fight. And respect to Devin Haney for going to the land of the kangaroos, where it's not easy to win. It's not going to be easy to escape there with these belts. And he's saying, not only am I going to fight in this fight, I'm going to agree to a rematch and have to defend my belts if I win this in the land of the kangaroos again. So I got to defend these belts against the guy I just beat in his home country again. And by the way, I got to do it without my top two trainers. So respect to both these fighters. And this is what I'm talking about as far as I respect guys who put it on the line like this. And you contrast that to what we've seen from, say, a Tank Davis. Much respect to these fighters. And as far as the rat stuff, I guess all is fair in love and war.
Man, Sean, what you make of it, brother? Call him an informant.
Man, it's going to that level, right? Back to the Malinaji Broner girlfriend play the voicemail. Like my man Bruce Gass says, certain things you don't say, and but you know what? I do agree with Calix on the point of I think Haney is mentally strong and he's gonna overcome all this, being away from home, being away from his pops, being away from Ben Davidson, being called a rat, being called out for, giving information. Because the reason, if you think about it, he would help out Kambosos is because what? He feels he can beat him. So if you just go in there and beat his ass and make it, no doubt, hurt him, put him down, and believe no question that he may not even want to have that second fight or rematch, because he'll be so decisive. That's probably not realistic, but that's the mentality he needs to have. All's fair in love and war, like my man Calix Boxing said. Surprised, yeah, but at the same time, Kambosos is an underrated trash talker. One thing that stands out to me from the Teofimo fight is like that one-liner that he said at the end, at the last press conference at the face-off to Teofimo. He looked at him right in the face, and he said, "These belts are cursed," because he knew about a situation. It looked like the look on. I didn't understand at the time, but the look on Teofimo's face is like, "Oh shit." Maybe because my life's fucked up. Maybe they are cursed. Maybe I don't need them. So Kambosos, shout out to him and his 90s R&B singer wardrobe. That brother's bringing it. And like my man Bruce Gass says, man, I'm going to be light up. Can't wait for Saturday afternoon, man. It's going down. We're getting undisputed, baby. Let's go.
Hey, we're getting undisputed without dispute. I will say this to close out. Let me say this. Australia, you could have a great, don't sell out for one fighter by robbing Haney, because then no one's going to go over there to fight. You have an opportunity to become a real viable boxing market. If there's money to be made, especially with Australian fighters, just don't do any stupid shit, because it's not going to benefit you in the long run, right? It's not, because you think Tim Tszyu is going to have an easy time getting a big name fighter to Australia if you rob Devin Haney? It's not. You're not going to do yourselves any favors. You're just not. Okay, and in Australia. Well, I don't live in Australia, so I can't say but I get a feeling like it's not the biggest sport over there, but they support fighters though, right? Like Jeff Horn, I get he was fighting Pacquiao, but even when he wasn't fighting Pacquiao, he was a big draw over there, right? So no funky business. I'm not saying scored in favor of Haney. What I'm saying is score down the middle, be fair. Don't do any stupid shit. Treat Haney the same way you're treating Kambosos, right? And let's have a prize fight and may the best man win. That's all I ask, because I'm telling you right now, you're dreaming of Jamal going to Australia if Haney gets robbed. It's not going to happen, right? You want to be known as a viable place where people could come and fight and they're going to be treated fairly. Right. And I know it's asking a lot, because I live in Texas. That doesn't necessarily happen in Texas. So I get it. Okay. I do. But I'm just saying, there's already I'm already seeing suspicions and they might drug Haney out there. His dad's not looking out for him. And look, Haney doesn't need his dad holding his hand. Okay. He'll have Yoel Judah, who has a lot of experience in these big fights with his own son. Right. They got that, right? All those things are real, but I honestly feel this way about this fight. I don't have a dog in this race. I just don't. I just want the best man to win, right? I'll give my prediction on who's going to win on Thursday on the roundtable, okay? Or maybe earlier in the week we do power punchers, but I'll give my prediction, all right? But that's just that, okay? Everybody, make sure you subscribe, okay? To Calix Boxing. You could put the link to his channel in the chat or in the comment, but it's Calix 2.0. Make sure you catch it. Everybody subscribe to Bruce Gass. He could put the link again to his channel in the chat. Make sure you do that. And everybody subscribe to Sean Gringo Hicks. Long Live Boxing. Go to longliveboxing.com. Give them your support. I'm looking to alternate the Long Live Boxing guys on these shows, because I think they have great content. Riding Yogi, great show tonight. Have a beer on me, D-Style. Shout out to the panel and the chat room. Hey, much appreciated. I appreciate the support. Does anybody have any final thoughts before I roll out?
None.
Just a great show. Thank you guys so much for having me on. I just want to send a quick shout out because I know everybody's kind of been down on undercards, but I'm real proud of my brother, man. I saw his first fight when he signed with Mikey Garcia. Then he got let go by Mikey Garcia Promotions, but now he's with Zanfer and he's fighting on the Munguia Kella card on June 11th. The Zone, Listo Gaitan making his debut on the Zone, man. I'm so pumped up for him. A 175. He's 7-0, 6'1". Right, the bearded Chingon. So he's bringing that pain, baby. So shout out to him, man, and I'm excited. So please watch that undercard or at least support it.
There you go.
Yeah, and D-Style, I'm actually putting a link to my new website on the chat right now, too, if anybody wants to check out the new site.
What's the site? CalixBoxing.com?
CalixBoxing.com, that's it.
CalixBoxing.com. Make sure you check that out. Maybe we could get these shows on the website. I don't know. I mean, I'm just putting that out there. But
let me say one thing, bro. D-Style, I appreciate this link, man. It was I didn't expect it at all. I come on here, you invite me on, and as soon as I'm on here, bro, I get a text from Major Key. He drops me a link to come on his show, bro. Man, just good times. I love the magic in boxing, man. I want to go definitely El Gringo. I'm going to go to your site, my brother. I'm going to sub up there, man. And Cali, I'm already subbed to yours. Appreciate it, D-Style. Tomorrow night, I do a thing. I call it Tuesday Night Fights. Me and my brother George Jakovic. He's been a producer of HBO for 15 years. Tomorrow night, we're going to talk about the cheaters in boxing. We're going to get down and we're going to talk about the margaritos, and we're going to write down the line, the galadas, bro. And we're going to show some old fights. So if anybody wants to stop by there, I appreciate it. I just hit 500 subs, man. I'm kind of in a lull this past couple of weeks, but I appreciate you having me on here, man. Sean, Callie, D-Style, thank you so much, my brothers. One love, man. I'll see all you guys later, man. And this weekend, it's going to be a kick-ass, like you said, undisputed lightweight championship. When's the last time we saw that, brothers? Oh, I'm there, man.
This is one of the best. This coming up this weekend is one of the best weekends I can think of in a while. Like this is action packed. You got Ogawa. His fight is flying under the radar too. So keep an eye on him.
Yeah, we have a lot of fights, and speaking of that, don't miss a roundtable because I think Fulton's going to be fighting.
Yes,
he's going to be fighting Roman, and I had Roman on. I think that's an underrated fight. It's not getting the attention it deserves.
Fulton's a beast, man. Fulton's
a beast, and Roman is good, bro. It's a great fight. And then, I think it might be. I don't know if it's on Sunday for us or Monday.
I think it's Sunday morning. I think
in a way,
somewhere between 5 and 8 a.m. Sunday morning.
Yeah,
it's gonna go.
Yeah, in a way against Donaire. So there you go. That's the second fight. Donaire's going to sleep. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I was in a stream and Notil Donaire was there. He's like, "Oh, I don't buy what you're selling." Like, hey,
there's a lot of implications this weekend. Top 10 pound for pound, because I think Fulton's already there, but there's a lot of implications.
I agree with you. Fulton should be on people's top 10 pound for pound, but he's not, and maybe it's a little weight class thing. It is what it is. But with that said, guys, I appreciate everybody that came in. Look, man, I think we reached about 70 a little bit ago. Hit that like button. It helps support the channel. Hit the bell button. That way you're notified every time we come on here for Aftermath. This is D-Style Boxing. Keep it boxing. We're out of here. Peace.